In this lecture, we're gonna go over one of the most, I guess, known exercises for establishing your principles and starting to learn animation, which is the bouncing ball. It's probably one of the most, classic exercises you can start with, and there's a reason for that. The reason is because you can practice a lot of the principles all at once. It's very simple, it's just a ball, just a circle. You do 2D and whatnot. And yeah, it just helps really understand some of the main and most important principles in animation. I myself have done this like many times throughout my career, and have gone back to it several times. Every time I would learn something new and I would understand things better. So I encourage you to not just practice this just once and be done with it, but actually do it several times, understand it. And once I do this lecture, you're gonna have an assignment with it, and we can explain that a little bit later. But yeah, let's start with this. So let's see. So part of every single shot they're gonna animate is planning. Okay, planning is the first thing that you do when you are thinking of a shot. Okay, in production, you're gonna have a what's called a storyboard or an animatic, so you can see what the planning is, but you still have to do your research and think about how to place your shots. Okay, when you're a student and you're doing your own exercises, you get to actually plan from scratch, which is awesome. In this case, part of the planning for a bouncing ball is checking out reference. So I would encourage you guys to go look for reference online on how a ball bounces. Make sure you understand that, and then plan in a piece of paper. Like in this case, I took this from the internet, but it's pretty much the same thing. This is what I would do when I started. Is okay, how does the ball travel? Travels in arcs, which is one of the principles. He has to speed up as it comes down and get slower as he hits the apex because of gravity, right? So gravity makes it to where once it's going up, it's gonna reach a certain apex, which is this frame number 12. And then it's gonna slowly start to come down, which here is one of our principles, ease in and ease out, okay? So we have timing and spacing as well. You space out the drawings accordingly to convey that acceleration and deceleration. Okay, we have squash and stretch. We got this stretch. Most of the stretch is happening right before it hits the ground. And then when it hits the ground, we have the squash position. And then when it leaves the ground, you're gonna have a stretch once again. And then as it gets neutralized with gravity, which is the apex, it gets rounder and it recovers its original shape. Okay. What else? We can say that we can touch on staging because we're gonna have to set a camera so we can submit our work and make sure that we're showing what we intend to show. Okay. Also, you can say that straight ahead and pose to pose is something that we're gonna touch on, and that depends on how you're gonna tackle this assignment. So again, like I explained in my previous video, you can tackle this several ways. One is if you do a pose to pose approach, you're gonna do frame 1 right here because you need a frame to start. Then the next one would be 7, then the next one 12, then 17, 21, 25. You see that the keys are darker here, right? And then you're gonna add the breakdowns in between, and in such a way that it would convey this arc. Okay, so you might do maybe frame 5 here, then you might do this one over here and this one over here. so on and so forth to describe those arcs, and then break it down further and further and further until you have described all of these. You can do that approach. That's very classic 2D type of approach, but you can do it. Disregard all these numbers. I don't think you need to pay attention to that, by the way. It's just the timing is going to be your timing depending on the type of ball that you want to animate. That's why reference is very important, okay? The other one is a straight ahead type of approach, which would mean, okay, I'm going to pose frame 1, then frame 2, 3, and so on and so forth until you go through each one of them. I would not recommend to do this type of approach, but you can, and I would encourage you to go ahead and test it out. See what you think about it. And then the third approach, which is the one I'm going to be using, is more of a CG animation type of approach, and it's called a layered approach. And for this exercise specifically, it's going to work great. And I'm going to do a separate, there's going to be a separate video on the different type of workflows, which involve straight ahead, pose to pose, and layered, all compared with the pros and cons of each other. Okay, but for this exercise, you're not gonna need that. You can follow along with me and then try and see other types of workflows like straight ahead and pose to pose if you like. All right, let's dig in then. So first thing you're gonna do is I'm gonna provide this rig for you. It's a free rig. Let me pull that website up so you can find it. All right. So here's this website where I found this rig. You don't need to use this one specifically. You can find the rig that you want. But yeah, this is one I'm going to be using. Okay. So first thing that you want to do is make sure that you're at 24 frames per second, if that's the intended frame range. You want to set your Maya to where you have I like weighted tangents and auto span legacy in this case. Okay, and then if you go down to time slider, you want to make sure that your playback speed is at 24 times 1, 24 because it's set to 24. But you don't want play every frame or any of those. But if you set it to times 1, it means it's going to play at real speed. Even if you have to skip some frames, it's going to try to play at the speed of that you're animating at. Okay, so let's just hit save. And the second thing that you want to look into is how to bring this rig into your scene. The way you do that is you reference it in. Okay, so you go open the reference editor. You can hit the plus button, then navigate to wherever the rig is and just hit reference. That will bring you into this list. The reason why we do this is because it's safer. It's a lighter scene because it's only referencing the rig scene. But also if the rig were to break, I can always replace the reference and get back to the original state. So that's great. Also in production, when there's updates to the rig, you can just right click this guy, replace reference, and then look for the new reference, and boom, you have your new updated rig. All right. All right. So second thing we're going to do here, I'm going to use the orthographic view here. Actually, I'm going to do this. So I got to work with one monitor here because I'm recording. So let's do orthographic side view here. And then I'm gonna use this lower panel as my graph editor. I'm gonna remove that one. I'm also gonna hide the grid here. And I'm gonna turn on this guy here. This blue guy here, you'll see that it creates that framing, which actually is the rendering area. So when you hit a play blast, and we'll go into what a play blast is, because that's how you're gonna submit your work. Everything that's gonna be showing that play blast is what's in this box here. Okay, so you want to make sure you frame your stuff, your shot, based off of this box here. Part of staging, again, one of the principles is to pick a good framing for your shot. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a ground for this ball to bounce on. So I'm gonna create this box, and I'm creating a box so I can see it on this view here. And I'm just gonna, oops, it's the other way. Okay, there we go. Okay, and I'm gonna select the face, press W for my moving thing, then go up here, world space 0, so that puts it at 0 in the world. Great. And I'm just gonna double check that this way, that way is okay. So I'm gonna animate in 3D this like this. Okay. What else do we have? Can I hide? I don't know how to hide that. Okay. Doesn't matter. By the way, guys, I have my own tools. I have Animbot here. You might not have this. We can go into my tools in a different video as well. But yeah, we're probably not gonna use it for now. I have a bunch of other tools here. I can go into that later as well. So now I just created a ground. I'm gonna give this a color just to make it stand out. Well, actually, let's see. If I hit Alt B, I might get different. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's fine. Cool. So now let's explore the rig a little bit. It's my first time working with this rig, so I just want to make sure that I know what these controls do. Rotate slide, I don't know what that is. Doesn't matter. So I just want to make sure this big guy controls the whole thing. Then this one, I know it probably, yeah, it controls the rotations. I can rotate with this, but we'll see later on why it's important for our ball rig to have a different control to rotate it. And this is probably squash and stretch. Great, yeah, it's awesome. And this control controls the direction of the squash and stretch. Wonderful, that's exactly what I want. Okay, so this ball, and what I'm gonna do here, guys, is I'm gonna animate just off of feel. Okay, you guys might wanna actually be specific on the type of ball that you're gonna animate. So this is just a demo. I'm just gonna make it bounce regularly. No, it's not gonna be a bowling ball or anything like that specific. It may be more like a basketball, really. This blast button you can change, and this one I think you have different types of balls. Yeah, let's stick with basketball. So main controller, I want to post it all the way up high, and for now I'm just gonna make it bounce up and down. Okay, so I'm gonna set a key with S over there, and the only axis I'm gonna worry about is Y right now. So can I make this bigger? Okay. So let's just mess with the Y axis, and again, this is the layered approach. Okay, so meaning I'm gonna just animate each axis as I need to, and start it with the most important. Okay, and then I go more specific into each axis that I want to animate and kind of build up like that. So you'll see in a second what it means, but yeah, I'm gonna say, okay, let's see. I'll start here in frame 1 all the way up there. So maybe frame, I don't know, 11. So it's 10 frames. I'm gonna hit 0. And I know 0 is where the ground is, because that was, you know, it's based off of this master control. And then when it bounces back up, I'm just gonna go halfway. So if I scroll through this, I'm gonna see it moving here. Okay. And I'm just gonna go in between. I'm gonna use the middle mouse button. And I'm gonna say here with the middle mouse button right here, and press S again. I'm just keying the translate Y because I selected translate Y. And that's gonna give me halfway what this other one was. Okay, don't worry about how it's bouncing right now. And then again, gonna go to the ground, which is this. I'm gonna go to frame 28. I'm just in the future. Doesn't matter how many frames I have in between right now. I'm not worrying about that. Halfway through this, I'm gonna middle mouse, key there, and then it's gonna bounce back down. So middle mouse that, stand here, there, then back to the ground, there, then halfway through here, around there. Maybe let's pick that one. There, then here. See how like I know that I'm gonna be tightening it up things, you know, timing wise. So I put them closer together as I go. That's back up and then do that. Okay. So then I'll do maybe another 2, and then just do 1 here and 1 here. Okay. Great. So if you looked at my other video on timing and spacing, easy in, easy out, and what the graph means, we know like these are the automatic tangents. So everything is very like, okay, it's, you know, easing out of this pose and easing into this pose, easing out. That's not how a ball bounces. It really keeps going. It doesn't ease onto the ground, okay? The ball actually, what it does is it hits the ground hard and then it bounces off the ground. So if I know that, I can go here. Oh, and this is why I wanted the weighted tangents, okay? At the beginning of this video, when we started working, we went here to the animation settings. Default tangent weights, I say weighted tangent, and then auto span. And weighted tangents, what it means is, so if you look at every key here, it has these little handles. Those are the tangents, okay? And when it's weighted, I can do this. I can just shift, middle mouse, move them. I can just move them with my middle mouse. I use shift to lock the axis from moving up and down. I just want them to move to the side, okay? So knowing that now, I can grab this guy and can, sorry, one more thing. This is more noticeable here. These buttons here, they're used to break the tangents, okay? So by default, this is how it comes. You can't grab one and have the other one stay the way it was. But if you press this guy here, now the tangents are broken. And now I can move this one independently from this one, okay? So for this one, I want it together. If I want to reset it, I just grab it and press these, A, auto tangent. Now this one is the one I want to break, which I did earlier. So I'm gonna grab that handle, I'm gonna bring it all the way in, and this handle all the way in. So what that's doing is easing out of this pose because it's in the air here, and then coming in fast and boom, hits the ground and back up fast. Okay, so I'm gonna do that for every single contact on the ground here. meaning all these keys that are at 0 position. Okay, so let's just do this frame, make sure I'm selecting the right ones, and break the tangents. Do that, do this, same thing for all of them. The reason why I'm doing separately the tangents is because they have different lengths, and that would prevent them from both getting all the way in as I need them to. Okay, there we go. That's the ground, final ground there. And now I feel like this could be more interesting, the time. So let's take a look at what we have actually. Let's see. It's horrible. Yeah, it's horrible. And one of the reasons is I probably don't have like the right amount of frames going down as I have them going up. Okay, so this should probably be 21 because I want 10 frames from 1 to 11, that's 10 frames. So 11 to 21, that's 10 more frames. Then what do we have? 29. So 21 to 29, that's 8 frames. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I need 2 more here. So 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And one more. Oh, by the way you move this is you stand on this frame, then you shift, left click, drag the section that you want to move, and then you middle mouse click here from the middle and you move it. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Great. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. One more. 5. See, I want the same amount of frames going down as I want have going up. Then when it comes back down, I can make less. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's great. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, probably 3. Let's do 3 there. 3 here. 1, 2, 2, 2, 1. And then we can do one more bounce, because then we get super tight over there. All right. Let's take a look at that. Still not gonna be great, but let's make sure these are like this as well. And it's a lot of going back and forth and testing. See, there's something going on here. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I did something wrong here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh yeah, I messed up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's good. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Messed up with the counting here. Let's take a look where I messed up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. 7, 8. Oh, I see what the problem was. I started, I know, okay. So it has to be the same from this section to this section. This is the first bounce, so no, that's the problem. 1, 2, so this was 10. Okay, let's do that 8. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's good. There's a 7 there. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Want to be precise here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's great. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. All right. 1, 2. 1, 2. Okay, that's better. All right. Now let's put all the top ones here. Just make sure they are all flat and same length on the with the tangent. So for that, just select them all. Here's the flat tangent here. And now let's check what we have here actually. Okay. Now what I would like to see is more hang time, because that's entertaining. Okay, so I'm gonna grab all the top ones, and then I'm gonna grab one handle of each of them, and it has to be all the same side of the handle, so all to the right of the handle, for instance. Make sure I grab the small one too. Well, the small one doesn't matter because it's one frame, so you're not gonna see anything in between. And then I'm gonna extend those handles. Now you're gonna see that you might need to extend the ones that have more time between keyframes a bit more. So these two, for instance, I'm just gonna grab them, extend them a bit more, and that one a bit more. Make sure I have enough hang time. And then these smaller ones here, it might be too much that I extended the handle, so I'm just gonna like kind of eyeballing it for now. See, that's way too much. So I just want to reduce that. And I don't know what happened there, but it got moved. This guy does not belong there, it belongs here. Just why not? Just do that. All right, let's test this one out. See if it feels a bit better. And something I'm gonna do here in this view, actually can do that and hide my curves. I have a button for this, but you can hide it from here. Okay, show curves. Let's just take a look at this. Boom, 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 boom. Great. Again, guys, this no reference, just go by feel type of ball. And now, what do we need? We need we can do two things actually. We can either animate it side to side, or we can do the squash and stretch first. But I think I'm gonna do side to side first, because then I can give the squash and stretch some direction as well. So let's do a side to side type of thing. In this case, so if you hold down W, then you hold down left click, you're gonna get this menu. And this is how you want the move tool to act. You want it to act in the world space, which means the axes are oriented just like the world, right? The world has, you have a little thing over here, W, Y, and X. And in my mind, I have it set here in the world as well, just to make sure that everything is pointed correctly. But the handles are behaving the same way, right? You see that Z, X, and Y have the same type of thing. Now, I can put in an object, and in this case, it's gonna act the same way, okay? But I wanna make sure that when I work on the graph, these axes are representative of what's in the graph, okay? So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna go to axis and go to parent. That's actually the accurate representation of what the graph is doing. Now I can double click this move tool here. I can do the same here. Axis orientation, you can pick parent. That's how I like to work. Gimbal. same thing. Now with gimbal is with the rotations. You hold E, then left click, and then you get these options: world, object, gimbal is a true rotation that it's gonna show in the graph. Okay, keep that in mind for later. We're not gonna do anything just yet with this, but it'll come handy. So press W, make sure I'm in parent. So the Z is the axis that I want to animate for side to side, okay? So let's go to the graph. And let's start here. Actually, let's start maybe off screen. And comes to a stop. And maybe it keeps going after it's on the ground. Maybe it goes to maybe like 100 frames. Just say that. And it's gonna come to a stop right here. And the way this graph is gonna work, it's gonna come at a constant speed this way, okay? So for that, but then it's gonna have to slow down, right? Towards the end, it has to come to a stop. So what I'm gonna do, we know that, so constant speed is linear. So in this case, I'm just gonna, the first key, reduce this handle all the way down, and it's gonna come slowly to a stop. This is my stop right here. Now I may need to move this later, but for now, just gonna keep it there. And now we get this bouncing ball. Okay. Cool. So it's moving through space. So I don't know, maybe I need to, maybe just translating too much. So after it stops bouncing, so I'm gonna bring this back to 90 and gonna put this again to flat. Make sure those tangents are like that. Let's take a look. Now what I can do as well is turn on the motion trail with this ball and check my arcs. Turn on the motion trail, I can see the arcs happening. Because now we have the translation Y plus the translation Z. And what do I get here? Well, if we refer back to the, let me look this up real quick, to the bouncing ball image, that's exactly what we were intending to do right there. Okay. I think this 19 can be a bit higher. You know, I can play with the heights, but it's very easy to work this way because it's very easy to edit. Okay, so I can bring these two up higher and you're gonna see them. Oops, you can see these keys over here moving, right? And bring them higher, just make them bounce a bit more at the beginning, and yeah, kind of fade off a bit nicer over there, right? Oops, maybe too much. I'll zoom in here. Great, let's just say that's what I want. Get rid of this, you can select it and delete it. Let's look at it again. Boom, boom. Great, let's just say this is the ball I want. All right, what else do we need to do? We need to add the squash and stretch. Great, let's add some squash and stretch. So we know we're probably gonna use just this one because he has another squash and stretch at the bottom. I don't think we need that. I think we can get away with just animating this one. The least amount of controls that you need to animate with, the better, okay? But I know here on the ground, it's gonna be a squash. Here, right before, it's gonna be the most stretch it's gonna have. Again, look at your planning. And that's exactly what happens. Right before it touches the ground, is the most stretched, and then it squashes, okay? Then at the apex, it's fully round, so no stretch or squash. So knowing that, I need a key up there, right? And then I need a key up here, and then, you know what? It's probably a good idea to keep these motion trails. Then I know when I'm hitting the apex. I'm gonna grab this guy. Gonna keep that squashing, stretching control. Squash, stretch there. I'm just setting keys right now. I'm just pressing S, going through. Press S right there. Press S right here, here, around the contact. Press S, 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 S at the apex. S, S, S. I have to zoom in because I'm a little blind, I guess. But oh, the way I'm zooming in now is using the 2D pan zoom, which you do with the key that's right above your enter key. It's a backslash, usually. You hold it down and then you right click and drag your mouse, and it zooms in and out. And then with the middle mouse, you can pan around. This is great for zooming in without actually moving your camera. Okay. The way you exit this mode is by just tapping on that key on the keyboard again, backslash, on top of the enter key. And then you can go back to where you were as well. That's great to keep your camera fixed. So again, let's keep going with this. Keep that key there, key here, key here, key here. And again, guys, I just want to make this job as easy as possible. And there's not gonna be any squash and stretch over there because it's so close to the ground. No need to deform it. So the higher it comes, so this is high as the ball is. So this one is gonna be the most stretch it's ever gonna have, okay? And let's exaggerate for now, okay? We can always tone it down. Boom, here's the ground there. Let's squash it as much as we want. And then, let's make sure this stretch is not as much as this stretch. And the way you check that, guys, is just come over here. Let's say I want to do this 6. Then this bounce is going to be -6 or -5.5. And then it's going to come back out at, 4. Do 4. And then 0 again. Let's go here. And it's going to be 4. And then let's do -3.5. And let's do maybe 3 or maybe a 2.5. Yeah, so it has to be less and less every time, okay? And then let's do again 2.5. Let's do maybe like a -1 or maybe a 2, -2. Just want a little bit more. And let's do 1 or 1.5. 1.5. Let's exaggerate, like I said. You can always tone down. 1.5. Let's do a -1. And let's do 1. Maybe that's too much. 0.5. Yeah, 0.5. 0.5 here. And let's do a -0.4. Then just a little bit. 0.5. Maybe 0.3. Yeah, 0.3. Here, 0.3 again. Oops. And let's just leave it at that. Or -0.1. Very minor stuff. That's it. Gonna stop there. Now you'll notice that the direction of this stretch is terrible. It's always upwards. So what do we do there? Well, the rig has this control to control the direction of this stretch, and you want to make it to where it follows that line of motion. Okay, it's great that we have the motion trail. Let's use it to help us out. So let's key it there. On the ground, you always want it to be 0. So actually, let's just go through the whole thing and make sure this ground one is 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, and then it doesn't matter anymore. Okay, so that's great. We have that direction. Make sure, again, we need that direction to follow the path. Okay, and we're gonna tweak these as well because we don't want the ball to stretch so much so early. Okay, and then when it comes out, point in that direction as well. Here we're gonna do the same. Okay. Wait. Oops. This. There we go. Go. Always point into the direction. So much here going on. So, oops, did it on the wrong key. Sure. Yeah, we animate one thing at a time. It's easier to control. Look at this mess of a graph. So I'm just gonna grab this auto, and what I said earlier, we want this squash and stretch to not happen so soon. So how do we do that? Let's look at the graph. Let's set it all to auto just in case. And we want it to stay closer to 0 for longer. Okay. So how do we do that in a quick way? Well, everything that is 0, we need to extend the handles, right? Let's grab these guys. All right, and then let's grab the handles. Handle. And now I'm just gonna look in the viewport. I'm gonna extend the handle like we did before, as much as we want. Yeah, it's very, very far here. You see now we're starting to stretch much later, but still, I don't think it's right. I think we need to add a key. So I'm gonna add a key here. And I'm gonna go in the graph to do this. I'm gonna hold I, the I key, middle mouse, and bring this down. Probably it's gonna be the same here as the first frame. Still 0. Maybe just a little bit of that. That's it. Still happening too soon, so I'm gonna move it one more frame. And then here, I'm gonna want another key. Yeah. Right. Same here. I want another key here. Just very, this is fine tuning the squash and stretch curve. I want it to be, you can also just move it and then we'll generate a key there for you. Yep. Okay. And this section might be a little too much of stretch. Okay, that's okay. And the other way to do this, guys, I mean, I've been doing this without the tools, but you can use the Twin Machine. In this case, there's a Twin Machine tool that you can download. This is a classic old Twin Machine. There's other tools you might want to look into. I use Animating a lot. It has all the tools, but it is a paid tool, guys. So I'm just gonna speed up the process here and just use the Twin Machine. Basically, I have my channel selected and I just favor one key or the other. If I press this one, it'll be 50%. See? But if I press like this guy here, it puts it 100% towards the previous key. which is exactly what I want here. And same thing here, same thing there, here, same thing. Maybe 90%. You can also do that. And 90% there, just play around with it. Cool, man. Let's take a look at this. I'm gonna delete my motion trap. I'm gonna zoom into this. See, now it looks too rubbery. So I need to tone down the squash and stretch quite a bit, I would say. Overall, the whole thing, okay? To me, it feels a little too rubbery. So I can always tone it down, like we said before. Select that control, and you can scale all this down, or with Animbot, you can, these are some scaling tools here, and they have to scale to default here, SD, scale to default. Okay, default is 0 in this case. So I'm gonna ghost this curve so I know where I'm at. Then I'm just gonna tone it down quite a bit, like that. Now take a look at it. And that to me feels a bit better. Now what are we missing here, guys? I think we're missing rotations, right? That ball needs to rotate. It feels weird without rotating. So let's go in here. And if I were to rotate this, which is the master one that we animated up and down and side to side, the problem is it will rotate, but if when I go to the stretching position here, it will mess up the direction that I had my stretch going towards, okay? So that is why there's another control for rotations right here. To control the rotations of the ball without affecting this guy, which gives us the direction of the squash. Now to animate that, I don't wanna guess. How do you know how much rotation is the ball gonna have as it moves forward? I don't know. It has to be linked to something. And it is actually, it's linked to the motion sideways of the ball, okay? Because it's moving in a specific direction. So now I can copy this curve, the translation Z of that control. I'm gonna copy it, select the curve, Control C. Now I'm gonna go to the rotation control. I'm gonna key it. And this is why I need to know what the gimbal mode of rotations is. In this case is rotation X, okay? So rotate X, I'm gonna paste my curve right there. And by default, that's not gonna do much. Actually, if I scroll, you're barely gonna see it move. Or it's not gonna be as much as it needs to rotate. Right? But you can always scale this up. How much is kind of up to you, depends on the rig, you know. And for scaling this, I'm using this guy here. Like say on, well, I'm gonna ghost it so I know how much. Say double. Now it's gonna rotate more. Okay, and actually I'm looking at it and I think you should keep going a bit more, you know, should keep rolling a bit more. So how do we do that? Well, we go back to the first control, go back to translate Z, and let's do like we first thought, maybe like 110. Let's do that. Let's ghost this. I'm gonna delete that. And I'm gonna extend this and see if I can match the curve that I had before, but with a little bit extra cushion, okay? Little extra cushion. I want that same speed that I had before, but I'm gonna extend this a bit more and have it settle longer, you know? Now I can copy these, go back to the rotation, rotation X, ghost this curve that I liked, delete that one, but paste the new one over here. And I'm gonna select the whole thing, and I'm gonna use this guy and gonna bring it all the way down around the same value. This one was at. Okay. Let's take a look at what that gave us. Yeah. So now it has a nicer settle, right? It keeps going for a little bit longer. It settles into the motion. Comes to a stop a bit nicer. And that's our bouncing ball. Now, what if there were changes, or I wanted to add an obstacle and the ball bounce off of a wall? Well, with this method, I can actually achieve that very easily versus the pose-to-pose method, okay? Pose-to-pose means you planned everything, and now say you want a ball to hit something in the middle of the way, which is gonna be like a wall, okay? So let's bring up a wall here. Now, if you were to have been animating this pose to pose, you may have an issue now, but because you did it in this fashion, layered, you know which curve is going to control the direction of this. So that is translate Z in this case. Okay. So I'm going to set a key with I, hold I, middle mouse click that. And that's going to put a key without interrupting the flow that I already had. Because if I press, let's go back, if I press S, even if I select translate Z, press S, you're gonna see the tangent mess up the flow of the curve. Oh, okay, it didn't, I know why it didn't happen. It didn't happen because Animbot is preventing that from happening, but default Maya does have that effect, so be wary, guys. Now, this is gonna have to go the opposite way because the wall is there. So I have this tool, it's called negate keys. So it's right here. And you can get this from, I'll pull it up real quick here. So it's from Aaron Corecel. The tool is called negate keys. Okay, so you need to install the script, and then when you select this, you probably need to restart Maya after you install the script. But after you're done with that, you are able to select the key that you want to reverse. Hit this button, basically run the script, and it will flip it. You know, it's a whole flip from this key, from the previous key. Okay, and we know that when things bounce, they need to basically, what needs to happen is we need this tangent to be killed like that, right? Because it has to bounce back with force, okay? So now what do we have? We're gonna see the ball come in, bounce. Now we have to do the same for the rotation. That's why it looks kind of weird. But now we have a ball that bounces against the wall. Okay, so we gotta do the same for the rotation. Oh, not in this control, but in this control. Okay, same. Gotta make sure it's set in the same key frame. Right here, 59 is the one I picked. Gonna do the same thing. Gonna set a key there, negate this key, gonna flatten that, gonna bring it down, and bring that down as well. So now, because it changes direction, everything is gonna change direction. The rotation as well. See? Nice. So if we were to have this changed by your director, now you know how easy it is to change it. Whereas if you do like a pose to pose type of approach and you don't know that you can do this, means that you have to block everything out again and almost start over at least halfway through your shot. Now the last thing to add here would be a little bit of squash, okay, on that frame, like right there. So you can put a key, set a key on these two controls, the direction and the squash and stretch. I'm gonna do that. And the direction, well, first off, I'm gonna squash it a bit. That may be too much again, but, and then this one has to be towards the wall like that. I think it is too much. So let's grab this and again, the previous frame needs to be, yeah, a bit normal. And then this one probably needs to be out a bit more. That's too much. Great. 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 That's our ball, guys. Now for your assignment, I would want you to animate more than one ball. I want a basketball, kind of like this one. But I do want a heavier ball, which can be the bowling ball. And I would like to see a beach ball, which is a lot lighter, stays in the air for longer. Just do your research, study the way they behave, and then make them bounce, the three of them in a space. You can start out with, you know, one ball at a time, and then we're gonna make them interact and bounce with each other, okay? But basically create some type of obstacle thingy. It could be something like this, it could be, you know, something like that, to where they just fall into the thing, you know. You can have them come in rolling. I don't know, you be creative with that. But yeah, make sure you study the balls and how they behave and have them react to the environment a little bit, okay? And yeah, get back to me if you're looking for feedback. And yeah, good luck and happy animating.